John! I'm terribly sorry, I don't know what came over me there. I guess I see a giant word and I have to shout it out. Yes, I am one of those annoying buttholes who can't help but read out the name of every store out loud whilst travelling in a car. Look, it's either that or I drive into them to find out what they actually sell. Alright, calm down. What kind of person needs to have a giant intro shouting their name at the screen? I mean, yeah, I do that too, but I never said I was a person. Anyway, this is John. I wonder what extremely clever type thing he has to share with us today. It must be smart. He is wearing a shirt in that picture. Hey man, buttons are hard. Why do you think I wear what is effectively a big armoured dress? And it's very breezy.
If I can't see God, how do I know that he is real?
Well, I have one relatively strong answer to that. You don't. I think it's a fair assumption that if you can't in any way detect something, because you know it's not just about see, but if you have no way to find something at all, where it is, what it does, or any of its effects on the world, I find the best assumption is to say, that thing probably doesn't real. And even if it somehow is real, the difference or lack thereof to the world that it makes renders it effectively unreal anyway. Time to go get drunk. Well, that last bit is just me and how I pretty much end all of my conclusions. What's that? The washing machine has broken down. I guess I need to buy a new one. Time to go get drunk. See? Works every time.
Well, the first thing to keep in mind is that there's many things that we believe in that we can't see.
Oh, goddammit, he's going to be literal with the see thing, isn't he? I was giving him the benefit of the doubt, but instead, he's just another dumbass. I mean, here he is wearing a t-shirt. Maybe that picture was just a lie. So yeah, there are plenty of things that we cannot detect with eyeballs, but that doesn't in any way make them undetectable. Not only do you have many other senses, but can sense various invisible but very much real phenomena, like wind on your skin, or the sensation of gravity pulling on your body, or the smell of a ninja fart. And also there are many inferences that can be made for things that you cannot currently see, like the sound of approaching vehicles around blind corners, or Stinky John being outside with his ninja farts. None of these things are believed without some form of evidence or experiential data that can be corroborated by multiple people accurately. And they all know that John needs to stop eating f***ing curry for breakfast, for Christ's sake. I can't breathe.
There's certain subatomic particles we can't see that we believe in.
Okay, but we still know they exist for myriad reasons. Their effects are often clear to be seen, and we can do stuff to them. They have been able to do that for like a century. They are in fact there, and we believe in them not by faith, or because we really want to go to subatomic particle heaven, but because we know they are real. But for some bizarre reason, no such device has been invented to find any of the many gods human beings have invented. Almost like there's no way to detect things that don't fricking exist.
There's other effects in nature, such as gravity, that we can't see.
Yes, you can. Ta-f***ing-da. That is, as far as I'm concerned, seeing gravity. And not only that, but gravity literally constantly affects your body. It is always attracting you to the center of the largest mass in your vicinity. To compare the unseenness of your or any other god to the unseenness of gravity is patently ridiculous. Not even remotely the same thing. Mostly because gravity is actually real.
Although we can see its effects.
Oh, so you do understand that concept? Okay, great. Well then, tell me all the multitudes of effects that we can attribute directly to not only a god, but very specifically the one written about in whatever book you were more than likely brought up around and taught was true and infallible. And if it turns out you can't do that, or, you know, have some hand-wavy excuse as to why you can't do that, but you're still totally right about your god and their realness, and that they totally did all the things everywhere, you'll have to forgive me when I don't give a shit about anything you have to say on that subject, like, ever, okay? Okay.
And even other things like the laws of logic, which we live our lives based upon and we can't escape.
What the hell are you talking about? The laws of logic are a human invention. They aren't some fundamental principle of the universe. They are literally made up. And logic isn't the same thing as things that are true and factual. Things that are logical are mostly about internal consistency. Something can be absolutely logical and be entirely and demonstrably untrue, because that's not what logic is about. And that second bit, people escape logic all the goddamn time. The amount of things that I hear, especially from folks like yourself, that are not only untrue but don't even have the good grace to be logically consistent is freaking staggering.
We can't see them, but we know they're real.
Real in that it was invented by people and they use it for whatever purpose? Sure, but that's not the same as real as gravity or wind or many other things that you started this discussion with. And gods are that same kind of real, you know. People believe and pray to whatever god and it's written about as if it's real and all that jazz, and okay, great, but under that kind of real, fictional characters are real because people form connections to them. They love them or hate them or fear them and write their own stories about them. But that's still not real in a way that's actually usefully real beyond itself, is it?
So we can know certain things are real if we can't see them.
We can know things are real without seeing them, but things that are real are always known to be real because we can actually interact with them or see their influence in the world around them in ways that can only be attributed to those things. Specifically, like, even if there was some way to know that a god or gods exist that didn't involve them stopping by to say hi and actually talking to us, you would still be stuck at, okay then, which one of your billions of bastards actually figured out the proper one? And what, if anything, do they want with us? Is there any kind of reward for living a certain way that would make being a massive asshole to everyone who's not like you worth it? Or is it functionally the same set of rules we have always had and they are just kind of there? So we should just carry on trying to make the world an actually better place. None of these questions would or could ever be answered without actually having a god making themselves known, and until they do, there is literally no point to pretending otherwise.
Second, by definition, God can't be seen.
Oh look, an excuse. I mean, I can define things all day in ways that mean that no one will ever be able to prove or disprove the thing I said to be true. But at that point, why should anyone believe me? And no, coming up with the list of self-fulfilling prophecies or circular reasoning about how the things I am saying is true because the thing I am saying is true are not valid reasons to believe me. They are, ironically, logically fallacious, which still doesn't make logic real, like a kick in the genitals makes pain real.
It says in the Gospel, John chapter 4, that God is spirit.
Ah, see, now that makes sense. God is alcohol. I mean, you would have to be pretty drunk to come up with half this shit, so it stands to reason. Although that's not what you actually mean by spirit, is it? And, well, you can't just say that God is this other thing, because then I'ma just ask, well, how do you know that is real? And what's your excuse as to why we can't detect that? And no, defining spirit in such a way that it is either undetectable or is like an abstract concept that doesn't mean anything really doesn't help.
So by definition, God is not physical.
Man, I actually thought he was going to say real then, and finally we would agree on something. And physical is exactly the kind of real we expect real things to be, especially if they are, according to many of you lot, the thing that created all the physical things. I mean, it seems a bit bizarre that a non-physical entity could do all the physicals. Although, frankly, it just sounds like you've defined God as being real because he's not real. And that just sounds like a good thumbnail, not gonna lie.
It commits a category fallacy to say, I can't believe in God because I can't see him.
Off. A category fallacy is the error of assigning to something a quality or action which can only properly be assigned to things of another category. It's not a category fallacy to say you don't believe in something because there's nothing about him that you can detect. You can't categorize God into existence. In fact, if anyone is committing that fallacy, it's you by categorizing him as freaking real.
Like saying, I don't believe in the musical note C because I can't smell it.
No, it's like saying, I don't believe in the person William Riker, who is the second in command of the Starship Enterprise D, because he's a fictional character from a TV show with no physical evidence and the world he exists in being real. A completely reasonable thing to say. And your argument against that is like saying, I don't believe in the musical note Jonathan Frakes because my spoon is made of gloves.
But third, even though we can't see God,
or touch, or taste, or smell, etc., 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 just so that you don't forget. Also, when did we get to, numbers? Was I just not paying attention, or did he just start putting numbers to this out of the blue? I don't know, and I'm not going to check, because that's what he wants me to do, and I ain't falling for that one again. Last time they took my skin.
there's very good reason to believe that God is real.
Now you say that, but I'm pretty sure that even if that were true, there are probably way more reasons to believe that God doesn't real at all. And if you are being more specific, well, there's almost infinite reasons to believe that God of the Bible is in fact completely made up. Most of them starting and ending with how the Bible is total gibberish.
How do we know this?
I don't know, but I can only assume that it's something stupid with some special pleading thrown on top and a sprinkling of goalpost shifting with a side order of whatever logical fallacies you fancy to really enhance the flavours.
Well, the beginning of the universe is best explained as a beginner.
Nope, that's a presupposition. What a shock that the very first thing you go to is in fact not a reason to believe in God. It's just shit you decided was true because you decided it was true. And again, it doesn't even come close to saying who your supposed beginner could be. And just because books ain't mine though, so do the rest. And f*** it, I started the universe when I got drunk and spilled whiskey into my fireplace. Now I'm just as likely the cause of everything as any of those other unprovable claims.
The fine-tuning of the universe points towards a fine-tuner.
Jesus Christ, this is just the presupposed conclusion show, isn't it? And not only that, the universe isn't fine-tuned at all. The universe certainly balances itself out over time based on forces, but that's like saying a pile of sand poured onto a table is fine-tuned to be that sort of triangle shape. No one fine-tuned shit. The physics of the sand and the shape of the table just happen to cause that shape, regardless of what whoever was pouring the sand wanted.
The origin of life and all its information points towards an author of life.
No, it f***ing doesn't. Oh, my fakeyismo, you are so annoying. Would you stop with the unsubstantiated and extremely debunked claims? Please, it's really getting on my nerves that you are just sitting here shitting out these completely nonsensical points as if they are actually proof of anything other than the fact that you haven't thought about them, and most certainly haven't spent any time trying to refute these arguments before spoofing them onto the internet, a thing that you should always endeavour to do in order to not sound like an idiot. And never ever just hear something, think that sound clever, and repeat it to every single person you meet in the hopes that they pat you on the head and call you a big brain smart boy.
The emergence of consciousness points towards a cosmic consciousness.
Oh, don't even get me started on consciousness. Consciousness isn't even something we fully understand yet. So to claim that means God and big real guy is intellectually lazy at best and just outright God of the Gaps fallacy at the rest. Oh, and thanks for making me have to bring up all these fallacies, because I wouldn't be doing so much of it if you hadn't pretended to know what one was.
The moral law that we know points towards a moral law giver.
Morality was invented by humans. Unless you can show me a morality detector, you need to stop this shit. Also, if morals are God-given, then you need to explain why so many people have so many different moral ideas, even between people who believe in the exact same God. Of all the reasons to believe in God so far, this is definitely one of them, because they're all fucking horrible, not gonna lie.
And ultimately, the historical evidence for Jesus and the scriptures.
No one can even definitively prove Jesus frickin' existed, let alone that he did anything that was written in the Bible. So no, good try, move along, numbnuts.
Tells us that God is real and has stepped into space-time in the person of Jesus Christ.
No, it tells us that doing drugs in the desert makes you come up with some pretty wild stories, and that's cool and all, but these stories don't prove anything other than humans are kind of creative, especially when so many of the stories get things wrong about the world so badly. I do wonder if we ever invent a time-traveling machine and can prove definitively that none of this shit ever happened, would the Crimsbobs find some way to justify that it totally did happen and they're even more right because of it? Multiverse theory is suddenly going to get real appealing, huh?
So no, we can't see God, but we believe in many things we cannot see. And when it comes to the existence of God and Jesus in particular, we have very good reason to believe it's true and that God exists.
Nope, from everything in this video, you demonstrated that you don't know what real means, and you don't even know what reason means. You just really, really, really want to believe in God, and that's okay. You want to do that, that is absolutely fine by me. I literally don't care. But the second you start trying to justify those beliefs with things that are objectively nonsense, that's when we're going to have a problem. Well, you have a problem. I just have a drink and a laugh.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the